Here we are in a brand new year, and we are about to change things up. If you found that last year was great, but you still didn't hit your targets, you didn't get the results you wanted, and maybe you missed some of your outcomes by just a little bit. We're going to change all of that today. I've been teasing about this. This is one of my favorite times of year because this is where we really get to start the year fast. And I am going to do an entire series on how to have a seven-figure year. And if you look at the whole year, 12 months in a year, it's a very significant number there. There are 12 markers on a clock, right? There's 12 months in a year. You can divide that into the 4 seasons. You could count the 12 apostles. Well, we're going to break this series down into 12 different events, and we are going to break down the seven-figure formula. So what is the seven-figure formula for you? As a CEO, we want you to have a seven-figure year. Put that money in the bank, not just revenue, but then you eat it all up in expenses. We want you to actually have that kind of income. Now, depending on your starting point, if you are starting at ground zero, I'm not going to make you the promise of a seven-figure year in 1 year. If you're at 6 figures, we can take you to that 7 figures in 1 year or less without any of the stress, the struggle, or the overwhelm. And we're going to show you the whole concept behind this. And I want you to come back on every Tuesday, and we are going to go live. And this is really me. I am not a cloned AI. Who knows what happens later in the year? But right now, every Tuesday, this is me live. And I'm going to show you exactly how you can build a seven-figure year. I'm going to introduce the concept to you. And the way the concept works is there are 4 pillars. And in each of those 4 pillars, there's 3 phases that we're going to take you through. And that is how you're going to build up this year. So you can go as fast or slow as you want. We have a group, theiconicentrepreneur.com. You can go in there and you're going to get a lot of resources and tools and quizzes and all kinds of things that you can do to make sure that you are going to hit this. And if you want special help with this, all you have to do is type down below, connect with us, go to callconnie.com, and myself and my team, we are here to help you. Our entire team of consultants, we're all focused on getting you that seven-figure year. And part of that is amplifying your business with the necessary AI tools. So we are actually talking about building an intelligent business, not just one that has gadgets stacked on top. That's not going to do it. You want to have a real business that will grow and scale and that you can eventually walk away from and step back from and let other people handle it. So if that sounds good, you're in the right place. And you saw when we first got started, let me show you here. I've got all kinds of fun things here. This is the roadmap that we're going to take you through over these next few weeks. And it's very, very simple. We're talking a high-level plan, but it has a lot of elements that are elegant, that are simple, that are not going to burn you out. And we like to call it a flight plan because we are going to go high. We're really talking trajectory, velocity, speed is really important. And the key is you are going to turn into the type of leader that runs a seven-figure company or 8-figure company or 9-figure company because you can take it and scale it so fast. And it's simplified. And the question I really want to ask you right now is, if not right now, when are you going to do it? Are you going to wait another year and another year or 6 months, or wait, I'm just getting, things figured out, or I have to get into this group or this course and try this out? Forget it. Those are all just little hacks. And we know how the hacks work. We saw what happened before. Well, we're going to dive deep into money math today. And I want you to take a closer look at this. This is from our Iconic Profit software. And let's say your business right now is kind of like the sweet spot for a lot of people when they come to work with us. Let's say you're in that usually $2 to $500,000 range, but let's say you're making $375,000 a year. And if you look closely at this, what we are doing, and you can see the red arrows coming in pointing to 375, and this is our calculator. And if you want to have this calculator so you can do these numbers, all you have to do is type calculator down below, and I will get this to you for free, and you can play with all the numbers yourself. And so here's the thing. A lot of businesses are stuck. And the reason they're stuck is they don't know their starting point. They don't know their numbers. And a lot of people are trying to build their business off of feel. Like, I feel like this would be good. Maybe I should try this. Everybody's doing that. But what we really need to do is validate everything and put numbers to it. So this is where we like to use calculators and metrics and numbers so that you can look at the numbers. The numbers don't lie, but your behavior doesn't lie also. So if you've got the numbers and we know how to track your behaviors, guess what? It's very easy to plot out that 7-figure year. So most companies don't know what their gross and net profit are. They don't know their numbers. They're almost afraid to look at the bank account. Maybe they'll look once a month, once a quarter, right? But not looking doesn't change it. It's looking at it every single day that's going to make the difference. So if you are not looking at your numbers every day, they're not going to be changing, and certainly not in the way that you want them to. So you don't want a nasty surprise. You want to be on it instantly if something needs to be addressed. And so this is what we like to focus on. So think about this, the average business, okay? Since most people don't know their profit numbers, let's just go off of the average business. The average business has 50% gross profit, 10% net. So if you're at $1 million, then that 10% net, that net is the number that goes in your bank account. That's only $100,000. And in California, that's not even going to buy you a whole pair of shoes. It might buy you the left shoe, not the right shoe. So you've got to figure out, how do I get more profit out of this? And this is what we want to talk about. This is very critical. So we're going to look at numbers, but we're also going to look at the plan, because numbers are one thing. You can have all the great dashboards and calculators you want, but if you still don't have a solid strategic plan, guess what? You have nothing. And you're going to be frustrated. Again, you're going to think, oh, I tried another thing that didn't work. So let's take a look at these numbers again. And I want you to look at our calculator here. I'm giving you a static view, but if you want to, I can show you this in 5 minutes, walk you through it, how it works, and then give you a copy of this, okay? So all you have to do is type calculator down below. We'll get that to you, or go to our website, iconicbusinessadvisors.com, and request it there. So if you see up in the top left-hand corner, I hope that's left for you, we're based on $375,000 current revenue, 10% net profit. So what does that mean? If you go down to the bottom where I circled it, right here, over here, it's 37,500. Who can live off of that? Nobody. Nobody can live off of that. And 375,000 is a pretty good income, most people would say. But when you take it down to the net profit, there's not a lot left. And so this is horrible. This is why we want you to focus on a 7-figure year. A lot of people think, oh, I don't need 7 figures. You absolutely need 7 figures. I'm going to show you next week all the numbers and why it's so important to have a 7-figure number for this year. Things are changing way, way, way too fast. You can see that, right? Nobody knows what's going to happen 3 months, 6 months, 12 months down the road. But if you had this certainty of knowing that you had 7 figures, wouldn't that change your level of anxiety and stress and pressure? Absolutely. So this is where you might be right now if you're a typical client that we work with. And if you haven't worked with us yet, come to one of our events, come to one of our workshops, stay here, come to our group, the Iconic Entrepreneur Group, whatever you need to get in touch with the truth, the real things that work. There's a lot of shiny objects out there, but we got to stay with the truth, the things that work. Okay. Now, look what happens. If we just make a 5% change, a 5% improvement in the 12 biggest areas, these are what we call 12 profit levers. These are the fastest things that you can change in your business without adding any extra cost for marketing or advertising, because that's expensive. And you're just growing organically with these 12 items. And we will put them in order for you, so you know what to do, how much to do, when, okay? But just across the board, to make it universal for everyone, what I did is I just made it at 5%. All right. And a 5% change, look at what that does, right? That adds in more revenue, more profit, $197,000 more profit. Now that's a number you can take to the bank, right? That's a number you could live off of when everybody else is paid. Now, what does it do to your total? Because it adds revenue and profit, $286,000 in more revenue. Now we're looking at $640,000. That's a good day, right? From 375 to 600, and is it 41? Yes, I can't read that. Yeah, $641,000. Who wouldn't be happy with that? It's not a million yet, but remember, these are only 12 little changes. The question for you is, what else could I do? How fast could I do that, right? So let's say you could do that once a week, a change every week. That's only 1 quarter. You got 3 quarters of the year left. What if it took you a month to do each of those changes? Well, our goal is we want to compress time and compound effort, right? So if you could do that fast, then there's other areas we could do for the rest of the year. And then we put these in order for you. And then what happens? You're at 1.3 million. This is why we always say, I can show you how to go from 6 to 7 figures in 1 year or less. This is exactly how you do it. And your total revenue growth then is at $2.3 million. Your profit is at 1.3. Who wouldn't love that? Okay. So would you like to see how this would work in your business? Well, this is what we want to figure out. Why does it work here when everything else you've tried, quite frankly, isn't working? And we're talking now about the force multiplier. What is the one thing that you could do to change everything? This is the way that you're going to have that 7-figure year. What is the one thing? What do you think that force multiplier is? Maybe I should give you a little hint. And that's a bullet train, right? The force multiplier is what? Is speed, okay? Is this going to get you anywhere fast? No. This is business circa 2019. Oh, the good old days. You could ride your bike, not even e-bikes, just regular bikes. It's not going to get you there, right? So if you could get to 600,000 from 300,000, how do you want to do it? As fast as possible, right? So we pick your vehicle. I don't care which vehicle. But we got to get in a faster vehicle. And most of you are in a very slow vehicle. You are turtling your way through life, that you're moving at glacial pace, and you're wondering why it's so hard. Okay, because it's called entropy. You're either moving forward or you're moving backwards. And if you feel like you're at a standstill, that's entropy. You're going backwards. That's why the years have been so hard. So speed of implementation. And the reason I talk about speed so much, right? Yes, I ran a racing company. I loved it. Wore every hat but the helmet, because I can't drive a stick. But we learned so much from running a racing company, how to do everything at Mach speed. You have to narrow everything down to only the essential parts. You can't have a lot of excess. And probably right now in your business, tell me if you got a little excess, a little overwhelm. You feel like there's too many parts and pieces moving, and then they're not doing anything to deliver results, that you start adding more things, looking for more things. Is this true for you? Come on, let's be honest.
Yes.
Yeah, it is, right? It's not working. And if you add more speed onto what's working, you have a very big problem. So when we're talking about what we're going to do in the first phase, remember, this is just the overview of how you build a 7-figure year. And next Tuesday, we're going to give you the details. We're going to break down the first step for you. So we've got to go fast. I showed you the numbers. You have to know numbers. You have to have a mechanism of tracking these numbers. That's why I'm going to give you the profit calculators. Okay. Now, what do we need to do? We need to set goals, okay? We're going to set SOAR goals. So we talk about this all the time. This is a cube, right? And my doctorate is in physics. Go figure, right? From physics to the race car tracks, right? So this is the cube. This is the model. This is that we use for business. Because if this is cube, right? Any way you turn it, it's fully balanced, right? It can be balanced whichever side it's on. That's how you have to look at your business. And this is based on a carbon model. And if you look at the carbon model, it actually is the only type that actually absorbs all the light. It's also indestructible on human atmosphere. And this is what your business needs to be. There's a whole lot more. And so this is what we call being cubed. When you go through the 4 steps that we build businesses off of, this is how you will grow. You will get cubed. Okay. And think about it. People say, oh, 10x or 2x, right? No, we cube. Okay. And cubing is actually faster than 10x. You can do the math and we'll show you as we go along. But how do you simplify these goals? You use a SOAR formula. And of course, you're going to look at fast wins, and then you're also going to look at the long play. And then we use the SOAR. And I'm going to walk you through the formula so you see exactly what it looks like and how it works. And with each of those 4 parts, remember, we're talking 4s and 12s. There's sequence, colors, patterns. This is how the brain learns. If you get too caught up in only the linear things, you will not achieve success. You have to be able to implement and act quickly based on the way your brain will learn and stick to things. You know how you get addicted to social media, to a show on Netflix, or shopping, or whatever your addiction is. Okay. That's the brain. All we have to do is switch where we're getting addicted to and get addicted to success. And that's why we want you to have a 7-figure year. But when you set your goals, a lot of people won't set them. They don't set them. They don't know how to do it. But there's 10 reasons. I want you to go look at these 10 reasons why people don't succeed in their goals. And we have found this out over years and years of doing this. And this is why we implement SOAR, because it's very simple. Everybody can count to 1, 2, 3, 4. You can remember what your 4 goals are. But if you have 12, or how many parts in the circle of life and all of that kind of stuff, that's too much. So we are simplifying. We're using laws of physics. And so here we're using Occam's razor to simplify everything down to the minimum parts. So come back, watch this again, or request it. Ask for the list of 10. These are the 10 reasons why people don't achieve their goals. So take a look at that and tell me which of these reasons for you applies, right? You don't set them. You set the wrong ones. You don't make them big enough. You just make them so that it's something you could accomplish, but do you ever? No, because you don't really try that hard. Or maybe you forget to track them. Again, back to the numbers like we opened up with, and they're unclear. Like you don't know how you would know if you achieve that goal, or how to get there. And they aren't reviewed daily. Must look at them every day. We like to do it a couple times a day. That's why we have the planners, right? We talked last week about the iconic planner. This is a great way to track everything. It's completely designed around the 7-figure year. If you want this planner for your year, just go ahead and ask and type planner down below. And if you look at last week's show, you can see exactly how to get that. And it'll be shipped directly to you. It's fully dated, has everything in there, no extra pieces that you need. Even if you're an electronic person, you need something physical, okay? And we teach you the 5-hour workday in there. So another reason people don't hit their goals is because they tell other people about it. Don't do that. It's going to incite your ego, and it's going to self-sabotage. So those are the first 7 reasons why people don't hit goals. Which one is it for you? Put your number down below. Okay. Another reason is that your goals don't align with your values. Like maybe you want money, but then maybe somewhere in your head you think rich people are greedy or awful, right? You're going to fail. Another reason that they don't do it is that they aren't interconnected. And the last reason is that there's no sensory bonds, right? You just don't really emotionally connect to it. So those are the 10 reasons why people fail. Which one is it for you? I want to know. Hopefully it's not all 10, but if you're wondering, why haven't you set goals? Why don't they work? Why don't you even feel like it? We're only in the first week of the year. Most people have already fallen off at this point. Over 90% of people have fallen off from their goals already. So get the planner and make sure that you are tracking and looking at those goals. Okay. So now what I want to do is keep moving forward. We understand that you need goals, but the question is, will it fly? Is what you're building, what you set, will it work? Will it take you there? And will it even get off the ground? So when you're flying, you notice how anytime you get on an airplane that the captain goes out of the cockpit and goes around the plane, right? And we've got our plane right here. So goes out of the plane and walks around and does a pre-flight checklist. It's like a pre-mortem, and checks to make sure everything is there. If the captain didn't, if nobody checked if everything was working, would you even board that plane? No. But what do we do with our businesses? We jump into some plan or idea or strategy or follow some quote guru of the month who probably isn't even live anymore. And there's no pre-flight checklist. You're going to crash. I promise you. Okay. So you have to check and make sure that it's going to work. So there's strategic inflection points when you're figuring out, how do I grow, right? And there's a critical point when you're growing your business that you really have to pay attention to. And this really matters. You have to figure out, okay, what am I going to do here? Do I want this thing to go real big or not? Okay. Is it going to grow? Am I going to lean in a little bit on this? Am I going to invest a little bit more? Am I going to take a few bigger risks? Maybe even work a little longer, a little harder, just to achieve a greater reward? Well, the thing is, not all leaders have the guts to go for this kind of a flight, right? And to be that daring, but the ones that do never look back. And that's what I want to find out. Who are you? Are you the kind that will never look back? You will just say, hey, I'm all in, right? This is what I want to do. So I want to know, who out there does this apply to? Does this apply to you? Are you the kind of person that's going to go all in? You know what to do.
Yeah, baby. Well, yes.
All right. Tell me, who are you? If you are the kind of person who wants to step into the cockpit, you want to fly the plane, you don't want to be in the back, right? You don't want to be second officer. You want to fly the darn thing. Then I want you to reach out to us. Type callconnie.com. I want to walk you and your business through the 7-figure year formula. And you will be amazed at how simple it is. You could take the last 5 years, and I promise you, have never seen anything as simple as the 7-figure year formula. So these are the strategic inflection points that we talked about, right? Again, I want you to see a pattern here, because I'm going to take you through the overview of everything. And these are, when you're looking at strategic inflection point, right? There's a point where you're going along and then you can't keep going the same way or pattern that you've done. And so it's a point where everything is either going to collapse or blow up. And when you're at that point, you have to completely reorient your business and probably put a new design to it, because what you did before isn't going to work. So these are the 4 strategic inflection points, and what you have to do, like we talked about, that pre-flight checklist, that's the pre-mortem, making sure everything works in advance. What if you went on this path and you went down this one runway? Well, the question is, would it take off, right? What would keep it from taking off? That's the pre-mortem, where you're looking at anything that could possibly go wrong in advance. And then you're at that launch pad. Okay, now we're ready to launch this thing. We're ready to take off. Is everything there? Is everything in place? Is everything buckled down? And then as you're going, you need to accelerate. This is where these boosters come in. How do you do that in your business? This is usually going to happen about 3/4 of the way through. Each of these are quadrants that you're going to grow in your business. And then orbit. What does orbit mean? It's now you've got everything working flawlessly. And now you're just going to orbit. You're going to keep going around and around. It's like a rinse and repeat time. And this is the power, because most people crash. Okay, there's a point where most businesses actually just crash. So what I want you to do, all these noises here, begin with the end in mind. So you start with a game plan. That's your 7-figure CEO formula. And then we have all these tools and resources for you to build it out so you can actually follow a proven plan. And I always love Stephen Covey's begin with the end in mind, right? So let's take a look at how we're going to do these. These are different parts of the plan that you want to do. So kind of the overall plan, the structure, the 30,000 foot view of how you navigate through this 7-figure year. It's not chaotic at all. We're going to look at capitalize. How do you capitalize what you're doing? How do you publicize? Get it out there, monetize it, right? Publicize doesn't mean you're going to make any money. Just because people see you doesn't mean you're making money. Ask any influencer these days, and legitimize it so that you can orbit, so you can keep doing it. So we've got a guidebook for that. And then our SOAR formula in this analysis, right? If you want to get cubed, these are the different milestones that we're going to go through. The S, focusing on singularity. What's the one thing that you want to focus on 100%? You can only achieve one big thing this year. How big is it going to be? What is it going to be? Don't set a small goal. Now, the O is ownership. This is you. What are you fully going to take ownership? And how can you assure successful outcomes? This is not just passing the buck here. This is the stuff that you are personally responsible. This is you stepping into that leadership role. And then the A is, this is where we want things to appreciate. So what systems are you going to create quantum growth with? And this is where you can really look at, in the A, the AI as well. And then what we want to have is really kind of a release, a letting go, a rest period. So you're fresh for the next cycle. Okay. So everything needs a rest. We need rest at the end of the day. And so you want to have, these are the 4 cycles and quadrants that you're going to go through. So we've got the 7-figure year formula. And what is it that we're going to break down over these next 12 weeks is the one offer. What is your main signature product, offer, service that you have? It has to be iconic. And then who's the group that you're going to market this to? Please don't say everybody, because that's a sign for failure. Then one meeting. We're going to condense and compress the ability to close, because if you take too long for every sale, you ruin it. So you're going to have one meeting, and then that's how you get your million. Really simple, isn't it? Okay. So the speed, this is where we're talking about what we call a blitz, where we're going to go really fast. And in order to do that, in that aspect of growing attention and visibility and getting out there and capitalizing on all the cool things that are out there, these are the 4 parts that we're going to build in this process. We're going to create. What do we need to create? That could be your product. It could be your environment. It could be creating the goals, the structure, creating partnerships, right? Connect. Then we're going to conduct, and then we're going to convert, because again, that's where that money comes in, and then we can iterate and do it again. Now, we're also have to look at, it's not just do, action, action, action. You have to stop and reflect and pull back. And we are working on a lot of hard skills. We also have to work on the soft skills as well. And I like this a lot, because this is really where Tim comes into play. Tim is the iconic mind. And if you've ever wanted somebody who could help you and guide you just when you're feeling like a little cloudy or fuzzy or not sure, or not confident, maybe a little imposter syndrome sinks in, that's where you want to tap into somebody like Tim. That's our AI 24/7 mentor that is in your pocket. You can do it on your phone. I do it on my dog walks every day in the morning. So thinking about, for you, what's the meaning of all of this, and the messaging that you want to have, and the momentum that you want to build, and the manpower. Right? How much do you really want to do as far as work? You don't want to work that hard all the time. This is where we can tap into AI as well. You're going to, everyone says leads, leads, leads. I need leads. Everybody says that, no matter what. They always say, yes, I need more leads. And so there's 4 parts to the lead cycle. We're going to walk you through all that. And then nurture. Not everyone is going to be your customer and your client right away, but They will be eventually. And if you figure out how to do that, we use the concept of the nautilus, right? Where people start sort of on the outside, and like a nautilus, they will wind into the center into you. And that's, if you ever look at design in nature, in photography, this is called the golden mean, the way things are circulated, right? If you look at a book, right, when you're designing the cover of a book, there's a certain point of the book that's in a certain strategic point, and then you want to make sure the focal point of the book is in that golden mean. Okay, so that golden mean is where you want to get your customer as well. So there's a lot of meaning to all of this. It's not just do these 4 steps. Okay. So this is how we validate everything. And you also have to figure out, when we're looking at growing your business, you have to do it safely. And there's a legal matrix that you want to look at as well. What do I mean by that? So a lot of people are careless and they don't set up their systems and their foundations very well. And if that happens to you, you could put your entire company at risk. We use an amazing company, Contractology. You should look them up. Tsunami Craft is amazing. She's the attorney we send everybody to. And so what are the things that you need to solidify that we're going to protect this year? And that would be your brand, your positioning, your content, so nobody steals it. This is a big thing with AI right now. And the relationships that you're building, and how do you make sure they're solid? Partnerships can be a tricky thing. So you have to look at all of these things and guard them with your life, because you don't want to lose a business. You don't want to build it and it comes falling down through no fault of your own, but basically it's through no attention, right? And so this is being cubed. This is what we're talking about here. So this is what we're going to build, right? This is pillar 1 that we're doing, right? Or we're going to go through the 4 pillars, the quadrants of the year. And if you want to get cubed, if you want your business rock solid, any way you look at it, never have to worry. It's perfectly clear and it has tons of dimension. You'll never get bored. And it's interesting and I'll track everybody. Then you want to get cubed. Okay. And that means you've come through and learned the 4 steps and the 4 phases of the SOAR formula so that you can have a 7-figure year. So it's so easy, isn't it? So, of course, when you come in, you're going to get a I've been cubed swag, and whether you want a shirt or sweatshirt or hat or whatever, we'll get it for you. Okay. So we want everybody cubed. Okay. This is the way that you're going to have a 7-figure year. And when you're at that 7 figures, remember, you want to have the profit, not just the numbers. Okay. So, and we don't want you working and slaving on everything. Don't forget, we're going to also build your team. This is how you don't have to work so hard. So we're going to show you 5-star staffing. How do you build that out so that you can actually walk away from your business and enjoy it, right? This is the whole anatomy of the 7-figure year. This is what we're going to show you over the next 12 weeks. And we're going to break it down step by step by step, so you know exactly what to do, when to do it, and when you're off track. So my question to you is, do you have a 7-figure flight plan right now? Do you have a way to make your business soar? So this is the key, right? We want you to soar, get on Iconic Air, and figure out, how do I do this? How do I really make my business take off? How do I get above everybody and soar above there and not come down again, right? Once you're up there, you have to stay there. And that's where a lot of people miss, but that's where we really focus on, is not just getting you there, but more emphasis is focused on keeping you there. And that's the power. And that's why people stay with us 5-6 years, because they just don't want to drop, right? You don't want to lose altitude. Not good. So really, no matter how far you want to go, and where you want to do it, why you want to do it, bottom line is you need somebody to guide you there, right? And that's what we want to be for you this year. There's very few people who've built multiple 7-figure companies multiple times who can actually teach you how to do that. I've built 5 multi-million-dollar companies from scratch in industries I knew nothing about. And every single one of those was a success because I followed a formula, a routine, a structure. And we're going to give you that blueprint over the next 12 weeks. So if you're ready, You know what to do? Give me a yes, right?
You know what?
Okay, so if you're ready, give me a yes. Tell me you're ready for a 7-figure year. Put it down below. Let me know who my $1 million people are, and we will reach out to you. Also, feel free to come to one of our events. And if you want to learn all the parts and pieces of the 7-figure year directly from us, you can come to a live workshop, get a ticket from us, and you can also come to an online workshop if you're not where we have one of our iconic business advisors. So go to theiconicworkshop.com. We have one coming up next week and the following in a couple different parts of town. All you have to do is go to theiconicworkshop.com. If you don't see something in your city, please request. There's be a button there. It says, I need a different day or time, and let us know. Where do you want a workshop? We'll come deliver a workshop to you. So make this your 7-figure year, and we are going to break down all the parts and pieces step by step on next Tuesday, 5 p.m. Pacific. And I look forward to seeing you there. Until that time, be iconic.